Hello, everybody. Welcome to TGIM. We're here. Woo! I missed you guys. If you're just joining me, hi. Hang on tight while we share out our fun live show together to the rest of the world. You can jam out to some Footloose. Hey guys, if you're joining me, hang on. We're going to have fun today. We're talking about all kinds of great stuff. Enjoy the music. Break it down a little bit while I'm sharing us out. And then once I'm done sharing us to all of our friends, so more of the world can feel our excitement and our love and energy and learn all the cool stuff that you guys get to learn. So I'm almost done sharing out our awesomeness. So just jam out. If you're here, don't leave me. We're going to have fun today. And you're here for you. So hang on. Hang on, dude. All right. Okay, we're almost there, we're almost there. All right, so if you're here, hi, how are you? All right. Okay, here we go. All right, hello, welcome, TGIM, everybody. So if you could say hi, let's see where our comments are coming in today. They're coming in on the phone, or are they coming in on the computer? You know how that goes sometimes, so let me see where we're commenting. All right. Hi, how are you? All right, let me check this comment box. There we go. All right, if you're here, say hello so I can see what's happening. Okay, hang on. I'm checking our, don't see any comments today coming through. That's interesting. All right, so I'm going to shut down our Footloose, sadly but true. Hello, welcome to TGIM. I'm so glad that you guys are here and are joining me. I am just going to go back to see where our comments are coming through so that I know how to answer your questions and where to look. Sometimes Facebook decides to put it up on where the live feed is coming from. Sometimes they want me to look down at the computer. So we'll see what happens. If you guys can go ahead and comment. Still not coming through for some reason, so if we might need to get creative. Hold on one second. Hold on. Okay, there we are. I see you guys on the computer. Woo! Okay, yay. Welcome. So I'm going to be looking in two spaces today. I apologize. That's on Facebook, not on us, because my comments are coming on the computer and I'm talking to you through my phone. So I appreciate that you guys are here. We are going to have a great show today. For those of you just joining me, I am Tracy Litt-Lester. I'm a certified life coach. I am a speaker, and I'm the founder of the Lit Factor, which is a personal growth and coaching company. And I help people inspire themselves and change their lives. So we are going to hang out today. Welcome. Let's see. Hi, Laura and Kaylin and Christian and Erica and Prisma and Lori. So happy you guys are all here, and I am so grateful for your presence. As we talk about things and it resonates and you have that feeling of like, oh my God, I do that, or that's so right, or I'm so glad I learned that, hit share and let's get this out. My intention and mission in life is to awaken and build more joy and fulfillment in as many humans as I possibly can. So if you can share it out, then you are helping the cause. So why TGIM, for those of you just joining me, maybe first timers? Thank God it's Monday. So we have very successfully started shifting the paradigm of the dreaded Sunday night and started shifting it into, it's Monday, new week, new opportunity. I can grow, I can change, I can shift, I'm not fixed, I can be excited. So pick up that TGIM, because then every day is exciting and you never have to have those Sunday night blues, because that's a choice too. All right, so we're going to get into our show. Again, for those of you just joining, I'm casual. I am here for this hour for you. I have things that I like to teach out. I also answer questions and coach live, which is why I was so, determined to figure out where the comments are coming from. I love you too. Thank you so much for the love. Jennifer asked, where am I from? I'm from South Florida. I'm in Palm Beach County, which is the east coast of Florida. Very warm. I moved down from New Jersey many years ago. My blood is very thin and I cannot be in the cold any longer. So that's why I'm here. So I want to go back in time. I missed you last week. I apologize. But I did send you out that article on being happier now. So if you didn't see it, there are 3 main things that I am encouraging and inviting you to stop doing now to increase your happiness immediately. So go back and find that article on the Lit Factor page. The week before, which was our last live session, we had an awesome session all about how to stop caring what everybody else thinks and how to stop taking things so personally. And it was tremendous. And there was a ton of reception, and following it was great questions, great feedback coming towards me. So I did a lot of contemplating, and what I realized is there was a major component. I had given you guys 8 points on how to stop caring so much about what everybody else thinks, right? Like a how-to. And there's one critical thing that I totally glossed over. And before we go into our new topic, I need to discuss this with you, okay? So on top of all the things that we talked about, the biggest element of not taking things personally and being able to release caring about what everybody else thinks is actually a behavior of your own, which is judgment, okay? Meaning your level of judgment on other people, okay? Because what happens is if you are constantly making judgments, drawing conclusions, having an opinion about what other people should or shouldn't do, or, are responding in a way where you are judging, assuming towards the other person, then it is only natural that you are going to find yourself in a constant state of feeling judged. That is how it works, okay? Because if you are fixated on others and judging others, then you are naturally going to live in a space where you believe that other people are judging you. All right, so give me a thumbs up or a heart or an angry face or something and let me know if this point is making sense. Again, I can see you. Ask me questions. That is really why I'm here. It's to serve you specifically. Okay, so judgment itself inherently, number one, judgment's ugly. It's just ugly. There is not a person on this planet who gets to judge. Nobody. And inherently, judgment separates you from whatever it is that you're judging. So maybe you're judging your husband for acting a certain way, or your child, or your friend, or your co-parent, right? As soon as you judge as if you know the way it should be, you are separating yourself from that person. So it totally affects, Prisma said, great. So it absolutely affects your relationship, most importantly to the topic of not caring what other people think. If you judge people, then you naturally think that people judge you. So on top of those 8 amazing things that we discussed 2 weeks ago that you can catch the replay of if you didn't get to see it, I want you to add awareness around judgment to your list, okay? Because when we judge, it naturally makes us think that people judge us, right? Laura says, Facebook isn't being nice, keeps freezing on me or going in and out. I'm sorry, Laura, maybe try rebooting your phone or your computer, and if not, you'll get this replay, I promise. So is everybody getting this judgment component? Jennifer says, when we judge others, we are not actually figuring out if these people should be in our life or if we should avoid them because they are not good for us. Is that a question? Okay, I'm trying to figure that out. And Vicky said, just came back, had to log off. Not sure what the show is, talking about not judging people. I think that's awesome. Thank you. Yes, Vicky, this little portion, our beginning of our show this hour, I wanted to give that one more critical tip from our show 2 weeks ago that I totally glossed over about not taking things personally and stop giving a shit what everybody else thinks so much, right? And judgment is a critical component of that, all right? So the other thing about judgment, because one of the main points we did talk about 2 weeks ago also was what I call staying in your lane, right? Staying in your own business. That also helps to combat this whole intensity of caring what everybody else thinks. So if you are in judgment, right, then naturally you're also going into another rule, which is to stay in your lane. So if you're in judgment, you've now moved from caring about yourself and focusing on yourself and being in your own lane, jumping over into somebody else's lane, as if you have the right to. I mean, really, none of us do. So now not only are you judging, but now you're in somebody else's business and nobody is over here taking care of your business. And then you look around and you wonder why things in your life are the way they are, right? So how would it feel and how much more time and energy would you have back if you stopped being so concerned about what everybody else is doing or how people are acting or what people are saying? The fastest way to release your own concern over what other people think is to stop your concern about other people. Are we getting this? Yes? Give me some action here so I know what's happening and I know it's resonating. And I know if I need to teach it another way. All right, so on top of that whole list of not taking things personally and not caring what other people think, okay? Let's see. All right, just making sure that wasn't a request. We must release judgment. The more you judge, the more you will feel judged. That is the main point. And the more you're judging, the less time you're focusing on yourself because you're over here hanging out in somebody else's business. And then nobody's in your business, and you need to be in your business. That is how you live a life of fulfillment and joy and alignment to who you are and what you want in your truest and highest self. Spending time in someone else's business and judgment and cattiness and opinion goes nowhere. It is a low form of energy, and you are far better than that, and it's something we need to work on immediately, okay? Rebecca says, makes perfect sense. Great. Stephanie says, I love it. The more you judge, the more you will be judged. Beautifully said. Thank you, Stephanie Ross. I appreciate it. That's exactly right. All right, so if you're wondering, oh my God, and what does everybody think? It's because you are judging out at other people. And again, right, we know that everything we talk about and everything that we teach is all founded in what you can do because you always have the power and the power of choice. So start practicing awareness on what you're judging, who you're judging, the situations, and remove the judgment and stay in your lane and focus on your space and the life that you're trying to build for yourself, creating that peace and joy and fulfillment, okay? Sandy says, how do I stop from thinking about all the friends I had? A husband making money, everybody was my friend, and now he's been laid off. They all left, I guess, because I have nothing to offer. They borrowed money or I paid for everything. So sad. I love everyone. Sandy, I feel you, and thank you for sharing that vulnerable story. Based on what I think I've understood from what you're saying is, if they're backing away from you because of an external circumstance of your life, I want you to ask yourself, how true of a friend were they? Okay? And then I want you to start loving yourself and holding yourself to a standard of knowing, if my friends ebb and flow based on what's going on outside of my life, not me as a person, then it's time to kind of examine who I'm surrounding myself with and who I'm choosing to hang with. Okay? And I say that with complete love. All right, so Sandy, comment back and let me know if that resonates with you. And I get the sadness because anytime we shift or transition or there's a little bit of loss, there's a little bit of sadness. I'm going to invite you, do not wallow in it. I want you to focus on what do you want to do next, right? Get yourself up and out of it and figure out what kind of people do you want to surround you with? Who is worthy of Sandy and her friendship, not her husband's money or what people do for a living or how big your house is or if you have a Louis Vuitton handbag or all that complete bullshit that nobody's taking with you anyway, everyone who's listening, okay? That's not what matters. All right, let's see. What about when the person you are judging is the man you have been with forever and have 3 beautiful children that absolutely adore him? Monica, what are you judging him about? I would love to understand that. That would be great. That is judging them, right? Jennifer said, what is judging them? If Jennifer, can you let me know what you mean by that? Oh, I'm confused about the word judge because we use judgment to make decisions. Okay, great. Yes, I will clarify that. Let me just say, Terry, what if you were interacting with someone and you feel negative or judging and you just ask them, I feel like I'm getting some negative vibes from you. What are you feeling right now? No, Terry, awesome. This is so great. I'm so proud of you. It's always great to ask. Always come from your power and your value, and it is absolutely one of the most beautiful things to do is to just come right out and say, hey, I'm feeling something off right now. What's going on for you? So rock on, Terry. You're graduated. You may go. No, I'm just kidding. That's awesome. Yes, always ask. The best route to improved relationships with yourself and others is the most direct and respectful communication you can give. So yes, Terry, go ahead and ask. Sandy says, yes, I'm learning they only used me. Thank you. You're welcome, Sandy, and that's okay. You're just a human, having human experiences. Don't go shaming yourself. Don't go getting disappointed. You now, whenever we are faced with a crossroads, whenever we have any kind of emotional impasse, it is simply time to evaluate. It's simply time to dig a little and figure out where is it coming from and start to make the shifts and the changes that we need to make, okay? Okay. Let's go back to Jennifer's comment. I'm confused about the word judged because we use judgment to make decisions. Okay. Jennifer, that is a very, very reasonable question, and I agree with you. When you are using good or bad judgment before you are talking, making a decision for yourself, then yes, that is one form of judgment. The form of judgment I'm referring to is when you have an opinion outside of yourself, right? The way that you think someone should do something. Someone was supposed to be this way. I can't believe they said that. How dare they? They really need to go do this. That's what I'm speaking of. So judgment outside of yourself towards another is the type of judgment I'm discussing, okay? Like if someone walked into my house right now and it was a girl with blue hair. Judgment would sound like, oh my God, look at her hair, it's blue. Why would she ever do something like that? That's judgment, okay? Superficial example, but tell me if that resonates with you, Jennifer, so that you understand, okay? All right, so does everybody get and this is before we go into the real topic of the day, but I really wanted to hit this because it's important. Stephanie says, what about those friends that spend their life judging others and then point their finger at you, telling others that you are the judgmental one when you walk away from their negativity? I don't know. What do you think about that? I mean, if you're asking me, okay, Jennifer says, yes, it makes sense. Great. So if you walk away from their negativity, the reason that they're telling you you're the judgmental one is because they're just putting it on you because you're disconnecting from the negativity. That's fine. That's where you implement not giving a shit what they think because you're doing something to love and honor yourself, right? So this isn't about how they respond. You're not responsible, everyone who's listening. You're not responsible for how other people respond to you. You are not responsible for how other people receive your choices. That is your life and your decision. They need to handle that for themselves. If it triggers them in some way, if it brings something on in some way, then that's an indication of the work that they need to do for themselves. All right, Stephanie, let me know if that answers your question. Again, when we're doing kind of, typing to me and I'm responding this way, I'm really trying to pull as much as I can out of the few sentences I'm getting. But that's what I believe you're saying. So when you walk away from their negativity, what about those friends? What about it? What do you want to do about that? You either choose to armor yourself and apply all the things we talk about, right? Which is that's on them. I can walk away and enjoy my day. And if they want to sit and tell me that I'm a certain way, okay, I'm untouchable. Right? Okay. Thank you. Totally makes sense. It makes me feel better. Good. I'm glad. That is why I'm here. Sandy says, I'm learning that all I need is my children and grandchildren, not a call or nothing. Well, anyway, children and grandchildren, not a call or nothing on how we are doing. Sandy, are you saying they're not calling you? If you could put that in a question, that would be super helpful. Okay, so let's keep going right after I have some coffee. Okay, so for more on not taking things personally and stop caring what everybody else thinks, go back to our live 2 weeks ago and check it out. It's awesome. We had a great time. There's going to be more on that and more master classes that I have a deeper dive that you're going to have the chance to work with me virtually one-on-one. So keep a lookout for all of that, okay? All right, so now we are going to talk about our actual live topic for the day. And I want to say one more thing about judgment and anywhere that you focus. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. We've talked about this before, right? So if you're focusing on everything and everyone else and how they are or aren't doing something, or how you can't believe they're acting this way or that way, even if it's your family, then you are out of your lane, you are in someone else's lane, expending your energy on them, okay? So go back to your lane and focus in on what do you need to do for you to, here's the question, what can I do for myself that my future self is going to be really stoked about? Does that make sense? What can I do today for myself that it's going to make my future self really happy and grateful? And your future self could be in an hour or in a year or 20 years, right? Because focusing in on everybody else and why they are or aren't a certain way, number one, you'll never get the answer to. Number two, you're not responsible for. And number three, sucks your energy away from what you could be doing for your own self. Okay? All right. So I see questions coming in, and I'm going to get back to as many as I can. But I want to kind of get into some of these big blocks because I think they're going to answer some of these questions. Okay? All right. All right. I'm just reading over these so I can log them if I can. All right. Yeah, Ruthie made a comment about expectations. That's great. That's great. All right. So, and I promise this is the other thing I want to say out loud for those of you that are just hanging out with me for the first time. If you ask a question, some I see and some I don't, number one. So I don't want you to ever think that I am bypassing you. Never the case. If you ask a question that I don't address, what I do after the show, before our next Monday, which will be next Monday, I will take down the questions I didn't answer, and I'm going to answer them in the next live. So then you will either want to watch the replay or show up again next week so that you make sure that I get that answer, because I always touch everybody who reaches out. It's just a function of whether it's in the immediate show or the next show. And if you haven't yet liked the Lit Factor page, go ahead and hit like right now so that you always catch all the lives and all of the articles and all of the other mini videos I do. Sometimes I take your questions and turn them into a mini video, so that way you can watch a 2 or 3 minute clip just around what you asked. Okay? All right. Yay! Thank you so much. So let's keep going. The first thing that I want to talk about in our topic are the 5 biggest blocks, and we're going to try to get through them all, but I'm not going to shortchange you. So if we have really good dialogue and we only get through a couple, that's cool, and we'll keep going because we do this every Monday. So these are the types of blocks that suck your energy, that keep you stuck, and keep you further away from happiness. Okay? From calm, from space from yourself, from happiness. Because at the end of the day, everything we talk about and everything we're moving towards is all in the name of happiness, is it not? You work your ass off because you believe that's going to lead you to happiness. You work on your marriage because you want more happiness. You work on finding a mate because you want more happiness. You work hard with your kids because you want more happiness, right? And you work out at the gym because you want more happiness. So what I'm talking about here is catching yourself in some of these blocks and behaviors I'm about to go into, because then you get to be happy now. We don't have to wait until then. The idea is build the life of your dreams. Work towards how fucking awesome you are. Don't pause on your happiness in the meantime. Get as much happiness as you can, because the happier, more joyful you are on the road to where you want to go, the more in the flow you are, and the more the universe works with you to bring you what you want. Okay? Okay. So let's talk about block number 1. I'm going to call it an assumption, but it is not the way that you're probably thinking of the word assumption, okay? So when I mean assumption, I mean you are assuming that because it happened a certain way before, it's definitely going to happen that way again, right? So I want you to think of the way that I say assumption as the past is going to predict the future, which is crap and totally, totally, totally untrue, all right? So if you have assumptions like, ugh, what's the point of even dating because the last 3 dates I had sucked? You're blocking yourself and you're creating a stuckness because you're deciding that that past is going to predict the future, okay? The last time you tried to talk to your husband about a certain situation, it didn't go well. So now maybe you clam up and you decide, I'm not going to have that conversation because the last time I did, ABC happened, okay? Let me know if this is making sense, right? Let's say you're at work and you want to submit this new idea, but your coworker just submitted one last week and got shot down. So you decide to sit small and not open your mouth and not say anything because you believe and assume that because it happened a certain way before, it is going to happen that way again, right? Let's say the last time you went out and tried to, be the healthiest year of your life, you failed. So now you're complacent and you're not interested in trying again because you feel like, I've seen that movie, I'm not going to do it again. All right? So this one we're going to go, yes, makes perfect sense. Awesome. All right? So this one is a kind of a quick one that we can touch on. If you have questions or you want to give me an assumption that maybe you function with, let me know. These are all based in awareness, right? So as you do your breathing and your centering and you function in your consciousness and awareness, you start to realize, oh my goodness, my mind is spewing an assumption. Why am I not moving towards that thing that I want? Oh, because I'm sitting in a space where I believe I know what's going to happen because I know what happened last time. Okay? So assumptions, believing that what happened in the past is probably or going to happen in the future, will keep you from your greatness. Okay? Are we together? Thumbs up, hearts, something, anything. It helps me to know that I'm going in the right direction. Okay, great. Ashley, history tends to repeat itself. That's a fact. I appreciate that, but I challenge you. It's really not a fact. It's not. And I think that when we believe it as an absolute, you really end up blocking yourself in a lot of ways that you could be expanding. So sure, maybe in fashion, history repeats itself. Okay, right? There might be instances in which, but in your life, I bet if you look at things in a different perspective, you change your thoughts, you do some of the inner work, then you absolutely can come out the other end with a different outcome, because it is not an absolute truth that the past predicts the future. It's just not. Okay? Let's say Lori says, I'm sitting in that space with my brother and his wife. Okay, Lori, if you want to say more about that, I would love, love, love to help you. Okay, Nicole. Hey, Nicole. Yes, with a lot of S's. Yes, exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and open your minds up to this topic, right? In that your life, the past does not predict the future. And if in your personal life you believe, which Ashley, I hear you, look at history, it's repeated. If you want to talk about American history, that's a different conversation. I'm talking about living your life in a way where you sit back and act powerless because you think you know how the story is going to end. So here's the slippery slope on that, and maybe Ashley, this speaks to you a little bit. If you believe that it's going to repeat itself, it will, which is what an assumption is, which is what a block is. And we're going to get into beliefs because that's another block. But if you sit and you decide, yep, nope, sorry, history always repeats itself, then we're done. And you're right, because everyone's always right for themselves, because everyone's version of life and perception is true for them. So what I'm here to do is open you up to other ways of thinking and other potentials. And I don't tell you to do it or don't do it. I want you to only, all of you, live lives that serve you, because every single person on this live has a different description, feeling, and definition of personal and professional life and success. And that's beautiful. And it's nobody's business to say that it should or shouldn't be a different way. So what I'm saying is if you wholeheartedly believe that because it happened one way, it's going to happen another way, then you will live in that stuckness on repeat over and over again until you choose to look at it a different way. All right, Nicole says, things change, people change, situations change. You have to be open-minded. You'd miss out on things expecting situations not to change, and they just must. They just might. Exactly. You have to be open, because and expectations is not on our list right now. We'll talk about that next week or the week following. Releasing expectation and living in a place of allowing is one of the keys to really, really being able to expand and allow great things to happen and create great things in your life, right? So thank you for sharing that. Lori said, I had to cut out my relationship with my brother because his wife is untrustworthy and evil. She's very toxic to me. Okay, I appreciate you sharing that. If you want to talk about that offline and you're interested in one-on-one coaching, because guys, this is what I do, reach out to me and we can definitely have a conversation, okay? All right, so let's keep going through these blocks and, we'll keep going from there. And again, anyone who's just joining, I'm Tracy Litt-Lester. I am a certified life coach and a speaker and the founder of the Lit Factor. So if you want some one-on-one, please, please, please reach out to me so that we can grow and help you achieve whatever it is that you want your life to look like, because you can have it completely. All right. Let's see, let me just go into a couple more comments. We do have control to not have history repeat itself. For example, I choose not to be like my mother was to me and be better to my kids. Learn from mistakes and be better. That's beautiful, thank you. Christy says 75% of the growth and change happens in your mind and beliefs. Absolutely. I would even say 100% of your growth and change happens in your mind, because once you get the inner right, the outer falls into place. The biggest way that we're all doing it wrong as people in today's society is that we go running after everything outside of ourselves, and we kind of think we're paying attention to our mind, spirit, and soul, and we're glossing over it, and then we're wondering why we're stuck and we can't get past things and why we don't feel right, right? You got to go to the inner first, and then the outer just starts to boom, 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 click, 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 okay? All right, so let's keep going. Cindy, how do you clear blocks? I want you right now, today, we're talking about awareness. For deeper dives on actually doing the work, I want you to reach out to me and like the Lit Factor page, because very soon, something super exciting is coming up where you're gonna have access to me live, like in a Zoom format, mini masterclass option once a month, where we're gonna do work and you're gonna have me face-to-face video in a little group. So go ahead and like the Lit Factor page. Dana says, oh my God, yes, you're speaking to my soul. Yay, 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 yay. I'm so glad. That's why I'm here. Okay, so let's go into the second. So we talked about assumptions, right? The past does not predict the future. Just because it happened one way, it will not happen. Doesn't mean it's going to happen another way. Unless you believe that it will, in which case you're right. Because as the little engine that could told us, if you think you can't, you can't. And if you think you can, you can. It's really that simple. Okay. Block number 2. This is a big one. And I'm very certain that you're all going to be like, oh my God, yes, this is me. Because years ago when I did this work on myself, that's what I thought. So, it's called interpretations, all right? So let me give you a real clear way to know this. It's when your mind makes shit up, okay? An interpretation is when your mind makes up stories, right? And because we trust our minds, because no one's ever told us to start questioning it until now, and you started hanging out with me, right? That we trust our minds, so you just believe at face value that everything that's coming out of it is true, and then you end up creating these stories that then end up making you feel disempowered, and then you're just, off your game, all right? So let me give you a few examples. So an interpretation, right, or when we make up stories, so let's say you texted your friend, and an hour goes by, no response. 2 hours goes by. 6 hours goes by. You're already thinking to yourself, oh my God, why isn't she texting me back? What did I do? Did we have an argument? Did I say something to her? That's where you are. The next morning, you still haven't heard from her. Now, you are down the rabbit hole of talking about, oh my God, what did I do? Did I say something to somebody else that said something to her, right? 2 days goes by, you still haven't heard from her, and then you get a text from her. It's like, oh my God, I dropped my phone in the toilet. I can't believe it. I'm sorry, I've been out of pocket. And you go, oh, thank God. And then you realize how ridiculous the stuff you were spewing in your head was, only once you can breathe and exhale that you really didn't do anything wrong, right? Yes, can I get some right? Because you made up stories because we just don't know how to let things be what they are. Because nobody ever taught us. Dana said all the time with everyone and everything. Okay, for everyone who this is resonating with, number 1, hit share on your Facebook. Number 2, totally true. Number 2, can you imagine how many minutes and how much energy you have allowed to be stolen away by that shit? I know for myself when this used to happen to me. Right? I would text somebody and then they wouldn't text me back and I'd be like, oh my God, like let's say it was my daughter's father, for example, right? And all of a sudden in my head, I'd be going into, oh my God, did I do this? Did he do this? Are we in a fight now? Right? I'm like, so I'm down the story, right? Already. And it's sucking me away from my life. All right? So this is super, super normal. Okay? So interpretation, making up stories. Let's talk about another one. Let's say you're sitting in your office and your boss walks into the big office that you're in. Walks by all the cubicles, doesn't say hi to you, keeps his head down, walks right past your desks and sits down in his office. And you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, am I getting fired? He didn't even smile at me. He smiled at Mary Jo, but he didn't smile at me. I know that when he walked in, he said hi to Jason at the front because he always does that. But oh my God, he didn't say hi to me. And now you're distracted all day because you're thinking about the story you're making up in your head, about how your job is probably over. Now you're going to have to look for work. You might even be so far down the road that you're thinking about how am I going to cover my bills if I don't have a job, right? Tell me. You're losing sleep. Give me thumbs up and smiles because I know this is true. Nicole, it sucks the life out of you. I'm ashamed at the wasted time. Dana, don't be ashamed because the other thing that we talk about here is self-love in a way that you can't even imagine. So we're not shaming here. You're gentle. You go to yourself, okay, cool. I got to learn something today. I'm going to work myself out of that behavior so I have that energy back, right? Because it's nothing but love. We're going to yes, yep. Losing nights of sleep, right? Or is everybody with me? Let's say this one. Your daughter tells you she hates school. Okay? Now, where are you in your head? My daughter hates school. What does that mean? Does that mean she's not going to want to go to school? Oh my God, is she always going to hate school? Is she even going to want to go to college? Ugh, what if she doesn't even have like a good job? What if she doesn't go to college? What if she doesn't get a good job? What if that... Do you see what happens, right? Like I'm just making this up. This is what happens. right? Your child comes home and they, fail a test. Oh my God, are they going to be a failure? Does that mean that they need tutoring? Do we need tutoring? We can't afford tutoring. I've got to talk to my husband about this. Oh my God, but then this bill just came in, right? This is what happens. We go into this interpretive bullshit story making mode because we have to make it mean something instead of just sitting back and allowing it to be what it is. All right, Lori said that's a big part of my problem. I was never taught how to love myself. Lori, I'm going to be bringing you something for that, so don't miss it. Kimberly says, I hear what you're saying and you're calling it interpretation, but to me it feels like anxiety. Is there a difference? Kimberly, for each person it's different. Some people's bodies go to anxiety faster. So absolutely, storytelling, right? Interpretations that we create absolutely lead us to anxiety, and I'll tell you why. If you're suffering from anxiety, it means automatically that your thoughts are in the future, right? And if we're storytelling about something that's going on, we're going down the road towards the future. So yes, of course you would feel a level of anxiousness because you're focusing on what's unknown, and that's where anxiety lives. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. All right, all right, let's see. Just admiring that strikes deep, made me tear up and cry. Lori, I'm so grateful that you're sharing this vulnerability. For all of you that are talking and sharing and listening and here. Life is to grow. If we're not growing, we're dying. And that's a truth with a TH at the end. That is not up for interpretation, right? And it's okay because we didn't know before we had all of these thought leaders and coaches and the work that I do to bring to our attention, wow, I can be different, think different, grow, expand. So enjoy it like you're enjoying it and let it in, right? Kelly and Claudia is saying, yes, I get anxiety from this. Totally, because you're literally allowing yourself to go like all the way down the road, right? It's kind of like who on our live today is single and you're dating, right? And it's like you see somebody, I don't know, profile or Tinder, I don't know, I'm not on that because I'm married, but you see it and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, and what if they have this and then this? And before you know it, you're like at the altar and you haven't even had a phone conversation with the person. Right? Because that's what our minds do. It's natural. However, you can shift it and you can change it. And part of it is practicing being present, which is a different topic for right now, but that is a critical component of it. All right? So Kimberly says, all the time just looking at the future and how to keep others happy with their needs. It's hard. My husband says I have high functioning anxiety, trying to learn to calm. Yes, it does make sense. I'm super happy that it makes sense, Kimberly. Thank you. And know that any time you allow your thoughts to go into the future, you will create anxiety. So anytime you're feeling your thoughts and your interpretations, guys, because that's the block we're talking about right now, and you're making up that story about your boss didn't say hi to you and what that means, or your child failed a test and what that's going to mean for their life, right? Or your friend not texting you back and how that, what could it possibly mean? What did I do? And you start internalizing. Anytime you're going towards the future and you're feeling anxious, which is what happens, you want to bring yourself back to present through different breathing methods, centering, okay, and things that we talk about all the time. But just stop yourself or be aware, okay, I know that my feelings, anxiety, come from thoughts. Go up into your head. What am I thinking right now? Oh, I'm thinking about ABC down the road. No wonder I'm anxious. And then do a few deep conscious breaths and make a new choice. Like, oh, I'm just going to focus on painting my toenails because that's relevant for right now, right? Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Let's see. How do you train to stop thinking like this? I completely agree with this. Any ways to counteract this? Yes, there's so many ways to counteract this. And like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of masterclass opportunities for you guys to get me live in a group virtually where we can be talking instead of just typing back and forth, where I'm going to be teaching you different techniques and tools and strategies to really shift yourself, okay? But use the one that I just mentioned for Kimberly. It's really, any change is about, number one, awareness, which is consciousness, like, oh my God, I'm doing this, which is part of why I teach, right? So that we can understand those things. Then it's interrupting the behavior. It's stopping in that moment because you're living in awareness, right? You're not just not realizing, you're realizing, I know where my feelings come from. I'm going to go up and figure it out. Oh, that's what I'm thinking about right now. And then you stop yourself through your centering, I'll give you another quick tip for those of you who really want to shift something. When you are in awareness and you notice you are in a behavior that is not serving you, okay, i.e. making an assumption, making an interpretation, making up bullshit stories that don't make you feel good, stop and count backwards from 18 by threes. I know, it sounds crazy, but it actually interrupts your brain from continuing the pathway in your mind, and you can shift into something new to think about, all right? So just play with that, because even right now you're probably counting backwards from 3 and you're like, oh my God, that was really hard, and you can't even remember why you even asked me that question in the first place, all right? Okay. All right, so let's keep going now into our next shift. And for those of you just joining, hi, I'm Tracy Lester. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a speaker. I'm the founder of The Lit Factor, and I help you be awesome. Okay, so we're going to go into block number 3. Block number 3 is a big one, and it's all about our limiting beliefs, okay? So limiting beliefs are things that either were inputted into us when we were younger because our parents believed them, or our religious leaders believed them, or our siblings believed them, or our friends believed them, or our teachers, right? And we were just taught that at such a young age that it was embedded into who we are and into our identity. Or we experienced something as we grew during even our formative years, right? Or even in our upper adolescence, that we decided, we made a meaning, right? Just like in our interpretations, and then we held on to it as belief, right? So I wrote some down just to give you an example. So let's say you heard your parents fighting about money when you were younger, and you now carry a belief that money's hard to make and money breaks people up. That's a limiting belief that's going to get in your way. Maybe your grandmother told you once, children are to be seen and not heard. So you really don't talk that much because you've been kind of shushed, right? And this is a limiting belief that's in your deep subconscious. Maybe you believe that forgiveness means condoning other people's behavior. So you have a shit ton of resentment and you're kind of angry a lot, right? Maybe you believe that people, you're in sales, people don't buy in December and January, right? I see this all the time. New clients don't sign on in December and January, so you kind of half-ass those months, and then you don't get any new business, and then you are like proving yourself right? Does this make sense? All right, let me know if this makes sense. Okay, hold on, I'm looking over here to see if I'm missing out. We're gonna go through some questions in a minute. Let's see, and you guys throw out to me any limiting beliefs that you know you have. Let's say, if a mom doesn't volunteer at school, it means she doesn't care. That's a limiting belief. There's not enough business to go around. That's a limiting belief. People don't really want to hear how I am, right? I've heard this one a lot from people, right? So if somebody says to you, hey, how are you? And you're like, I'm not going to tell them anyway because no one wants to hear that. Well, I'm sure if you close your eyes and wonder where that came from, you probably heard your mother tell you that one day, or it came from somewhere, right? So these are all limiting beliefs that keep you in a space where you create your rules of life based on what you believe. And here is the most exciting thing about beliefs. They're only beliefs. They're not truth. And they're not real unless you accept them to be true. That is all a belief is. I want you to think for a second. Think about why we have such a diverse world. So many cultures, so many religions, so many ways of being. And people will die, literally, for what they believe, because that is how deep and how true a belief can be. It becomes your truth until you get stuck, or you're blocked, or you're unhappy, or you're not living like your true self, or you feel like you're living a life of what everybody else wanted for you but you. And then you start to peel the layers back, and you start to question everything. Because that is what I want you to do in this life. I want you to question everything. Because when you question, you get to decide what aligns with who you really are today. Not who your mother or your father or your pastor or your rabbi or your sister or your grandmother or your friend needed or wanted you to be, or some culmination of all those people. You get to do you now, because you're not a fixed creature, and you get to believe what you want. All right? So part of, Kelly just said, I'm sorry, looking over, can you repeat that? Awesome notes here. I'm so glad, Kelly. I'm not sure which thing you want me to repeat, but this is going to be on replay, so you can watch it. So I really want to underscore and emphasize, if we don't clear out and dig into all of those limiting beliefs, some of them more surfacey, right? You can kind of discount some by just looking at them and being like, no, I just don't believe that. Boom, gone. Some of them are deeply, deeply embedded, right? And then you have to do that work, because if we don't clear out the beliefs, because there's so many disempowering ones living in our beings, then you'll never outperform them. They will always keep you stuck, which is why we're talking about the blocks, the things that keep you stuck. You have to clear them out, reprogram them, and put them back in as empowering so that you can then surpass where you currently are in your life. Critical component to growth. Okay? All right, so let me know if there's more questions on this particularly. I want to keep going. We have 15 minutes, which is awesome. Let's see. Okay, yes, very deep, so true, awesome. All right, so I'm going to go into the next one here, okay? The next big block that I want to talk about, and this one is the deepest of all things that keep you small, stuck, and unhappy. And we're going to call it your inner critic. Sometimes people refer to it as a gremlin, right? What I'm referring to is that little voice of self-doubt, right? That little voice of, you're not smart enough. Who do you think you are? Nobody's going to buy from you. You're not really going to be successful, because success is meant for other people and not for you. You're not actually strong enough to do that. You're not creative. Who do you actually think you are? You're totally a fraud. You're always going to be single because you're not really lovable. You can keep going on dates, but you're not really lovable. Okay? So respond to me, guys. Let me know how this is hitting, okay? Thumbs up, hearts, anger, whatever. I'm not judging you. So if this is resonating, let me know. And if you don't agree, then that's cool too, because you get to do your thing. Let's see. Lori's saying, I am my own worst enemy. Lori, I love you, and we all are. We all are, until we realize we can be different. Until we realize that that little voice was growing out of all those limiting beliefs and all that shit that we've decided to kind of carry with us through life. And we can totally take the power back from that little voice and realize that, hey, that little voice is just trying to be there to protect you. Its intentions are good. The messaging is wrong. That's what the key is. It's not that there's ever a day where you don't have a little voice. That's not true at all. What happens is you do growth work and you work with a coach, or you attend one of my workshops, or we do a master class, you're learning that that little voice isn't you. That little voice is simply a product of everything that's happened to you in your life. Who you were raised by, what you observed, what you took in, what was inputted into you, what you believed, what you made things mean, right? But it's not real. It's not you. So when you learn that you can take your power back and you can reprogram that little voice, sorry, I'm plugging in because the phone's getting dying, right? When you realize that you can reprogram and that little voice will still be there, but instead of that little voice being disempowering, that little voice is going to sound something like, you're awesome. Yeah, you can do that. Of course you're unstoppable. So what if you fail? Failure is critical to success. There's something I teach called fail forward. We can talk about that too, right? There's so much business to go around. If you don't become who you are, it's a disservice to the world, right? Everybody buys from me. I'm super talented at what I do. Are you feeling me, everyone? Let's see over here. Lori, I so want to reprogram. I'm 51. It's long overdue. Lori, please reach out to me. Please, let's talk, okay? Message me, Tracy@thelitfactor.com with 2 T's, or give me a note on Facebook. We need to talk, okay? Anyone who's ready to change, it's time. My little voice is the biggest voice of all, even those around me. Of course it is, because your impact on yourself is the biggest. Nicole, power of positive thinking. Yes, and I want to address something about that in a second. The voice is very loud for my daughter, and I don't know what else I can do to help her. She's only 13. Rocio, do you live in South Florida? If you do, I'm doing a middle school girls empowerment camp this summer that we need her to come to. Dana, yes, this has been easy for me. It was the first 2 that hit hard. Okay, great, awesome. Whatever everybody can take from this is tremendous, all right? Okay, so I want to address, Nicole had mentioned the power of positive thinking. So here is the thing about the power of positive thinking. It is wonderful. It is super helpful. It is not only what you need to focus on, because positivity only takes you so far. All right, so positivity is beautiful and great and essential, but we need to reprogram your beliefs in a way where you really, really grasp it. Because sometimes, let's say you can't go from, and let me explain what I mean by this, Nicole and everyone. You can't go from, I'm not good enough, to being like, I'm awesome, I'm totally good enough, rainbows and unicorns. Because you're not going to believe that. Therefore, you're not going to be able to have it really stick, and it's not going to resonate, right? So if you just try to rely on power of positive thinking alone, it can sometimes set you up to feel like you've taken steps back, because you need to do some of the work that goes along with the power of positivity, right? Which is your power of choice, which is awareness, which is reprogramming your belief systems and any disempowering thoughts and beliefs that you have about yourself. And I don't care if you're listening and you're 20 or you're 75 or anywhere in between. You do this at any age, because if you don't grow, you die. That's it, right? Okay. Nicole, yes, that sounds so fake. Exactly. So when you're reprogramming, right, you can't go from one to the other. Sometimes you have to live in a space of, I'm willing to see how awesome I am, and just live there for a while, right? Because that your mind will believe. Because if your mind doesn't believe it, it's going to categorize it as bullshit, and it's not going to resonate, and it's not going to sink in. All right? Okay. Let's see. Yes. Okay, wait a second. Stephanie, when my husband was killed on 9/11 in the Pentagon, I was pregnant with a first child. My life changed forever. I went from a bubbly person without a miserable bone in my body to being a basket cake because I'm always worried about what others think. It drives me nuts. My anxiety is horrible, and it interferes with my daily routine. Some of my friends don't get it. They judge me and think I'm rude. I totally need to reprogram. Stephanie, my heart goes out to you. Sorry, this is me, guys, and for those of you who hang out with me a lot, I go from, I can go into tears at any moment because this is real and this is live. My heart and soul goes out to you. And I resonate with this on so many levels. And definitely, I want to help you, okay? Because you are not that tragedy. And your life is not that tragedy. That was something that happened to you. Horrible, tragic, unfortunate, unexplainable. Okay? But you don't have to envelop that for yourself and for your life forever. Okay? You can use that, right? You can use that to honor him, to honor yourself and your life, to know that the best way to stand tall from any death is to live an inspired life for yourself. That is the way to honor him, and that is the way to honor what happened. And there's work to do, but it can be done, and I am here for you. So please, please, please reach out and message me, and let's have a conversation, okay? Okay. Let's see. All right, so let's see what other questions we have coming in. We have a few more minutes left. All right. Lisserish says, I'm 62 and always just went along as it was easier. Thank you. I have a lot of work to do. Great. Let's do the work, guys. Okay? That's why I'm here. If you're ready to do the work, if you want to come on and you want to do a group growth program, you message me, you let me know I'm interested. I'm in the midst of putting together a whole host of different things for you guys to embrace and get into. So let me know what I can do for you. And I'm always open to one-on-one conversations on me. If you are interested in one-on-one private coaching, I will absolutely cover a complimentary 30-minute session for you and I to talk to see if this is the right fit for you. So let me make that offer right now, okay? All right, so let's see where we're at. So we did all of our 4 big blocks, right, which were assumptions, which is believing that the past predicts the future, which is just not true unless you want it to be true, like everything. Interpretations, which is where you make up stories about what happened. You called your mother, she didn't answer. Oh, she must be in a bad situation, right? You text your friend, she doesn't text you back. What did you do wrong? Your kid comes home from school, they say they don't like school. You're 12 miles down the road already thinking, oh my God, they're going to have a horrible future and they're not going to be successful, right? All of these things that happen, okay? All right. Let's see. Then we were talking about limiting beliefs, which is how we're programmed, and all the stuff down there gets in your way. You're never going to outperform a disempowering belief system. Let me say that again. You will never outperform. You cannot just grunt your way through a disempowering belief system, because your subconscious will win 100% of the time, which is why sometimes you probably have experienced that, oh my God, I've taken this many steps forward, but I keep taking all these steps back, or I never hit that goal, or I've tried to achieve that 100 times, but I can't. It's because we need to get the stuff down here aligned with who you really want to be and where you really want to go. Okay? And then we talked about that inner critic, that little shitty committee voice of how much you suck and how you can't, and it keeps you sitting small at home on the couch, not living into your greatness. And I am here, and my mission is to let you know you are limitless, you have greatness that you have never tapped into, and you can if you want to. All right, and you get to define what that greatness means too. When I say things like that, it's not because I expect you to climb Mount Everest, or because you need to open like a multi-billion-dollar business. It could be those things, or it could be a calm mind. It could be simple joy and happiness. It could just be the best you that you could be, right? It doesn't have to be defined by this, perception of what greatness is. Greatness is however you define it, and however you want to feel every day. And you can feel however you want to feel all the time. You just have to do the inner work. All right? Okay. Dana says, I want to be happy all the time, not just on good days. Exactly. Call me. This is the work that we're going to do together. All right? So let's see. Anything for older teen boys? Marisol, are you in South Florida? At some point, I'm going to be doing more high school stuff too. Not right now. There's just only so much I can focus on with integrity at once. So let me know where you are. And if you guys want to reach out, Tracy@thelitfactor.com. That's lit with 2 T's. Like the Lit Factor, please. You won't miss anything. And please, as this resonates, share it out. The more people we can help, the better, right? This is one universe. We are all on the same team, all right? So that is our show today. Oh, actually, I'm going to back up a second. There's one more thing I want you guys to consider. The last block, which we'll talk a little bit more, is your tangible environment. I apologize. I got a little ahead of myself. So your environment. Think about your environment. Is it stealing your energy? Where do you live? Do you hate snow, but you're living in Colorado? Right? You hate darkness and rain, but you're in Seattle. Okay? Things like that. Or your actual interior. Is your wall color red, and you hate red, and you've always hated red, you just haven't made the decision to paint the wall? When you open up your closet, does shit fly out on you and the clutter overwhelms you every time, but you just shove it back in? When we go through the stuff that is around us environmentally, and we clear it out, and we start to only bring things that make us joy, right? Everything, whatever it is, the picture frame, the artwork on the wall, it doesn't matter if you paid for it. It doesn't matter if you've had it for 100 years. If it doesn't make you feel good, if it doesn't elicit a joy, right? Then it's got to go. Then it's got to go, because your environment is a major influencer. Right? Re-gut your whole house. Purge. Teach your kids to purge. These things are important. Last night I bought a $12 little light strand. It's the happiest thing. I was looking at it all night last night. It filled me up with joy. Nothing, right? It's all about when you see something, when you look at it, when you touch it in your environment, does it bring on a feeling of joy and happiness? And if it does, you keep it. And if it doesn't, you get rid of it or you change it. Okay? All right. So that concludes our TGIM for today. It is May 1st. Thank you all for being with me. I am so grateful to inspire you and teach you and help you. If you need me one-on-one, I am here, and I will be offering lots of different programs and workshops. You reach out, you let me know what you need, and I will give it to you. So thank you for being with me. Treat yourself well, and I will see you in a week. Bye.